Hey there guys, today's video is going to be a bit of a change of pace from the normal video you see me making. I'm not going to be building anything, but rather I'm going to be talking about shaving. Specifically, I'm going to be comparing traditional shaving like your dad or your grandpa might have used to a modern shaving service like Dollar Shave Club. Now, this isn't totally out of my wheelhouse as I've actually made several shaving related projects in the past. I made a straight razor handle, a shaving brush off of a drill press. I made a pallet wood shaving shelf, a shaving travel kit, and a few other things. So it's definitely an interest that I do have. So why am I making this video? Well, recently Dollar Shave Club contacted me and asked me if I would like to try out their service, and if I liked it, do a little video talking about it. Well, considering I've been doing a traditional shaving for several years now, I countered them and said, well, how about I do a video talking about my traditional shaving setup, and I will also try out your service as I do use a modern style razor when I'm at work at the firehouse. So I figured I'd try to get the best of both worlds and maybe give you an insight into both different options of shaving. So let me take you inside and I will talk about my traditional shaving setup, and then I will talk about my experiences with Dollar Shave Club. Alright, so now we're inside where all the magic happens. Not that magic, but the magic of beard removal. This is my pallet wood shaving shelf that I built, and it houses pretty much everything I use to shave the traditional way. So let me give you a tour of that, and then maybe I'll give you a quick demo on how to work up a lather and shave the traditional way. Alright, so I'll start this tour off at the top of the shelf. This is where I keep all of my razors. I have an assortment of both modern as well as vintage or antique traditional safety razors, and all of these razors up here accept the same standard double-edged safety razor blade. Some of them function with a twist to open function like these two vintage super speeds, and the others, the top comes off in two pieces to accept the razor blade. They all function the same and most closely resemble a modern style razor, and this is most often what I encourage people to start out with getting into traditional shaving. Over on this end of the shelf I have a few vintage straight razors, and then this little front razor right here is a straight razor shavette. This is nothing more than just a straight razor that can accept a disposable blade, and if you've ever seen a barbershop that offers hot shaves, something like this is most likely what they use. Moving on to the other end of the shelf, I have an antique pewter shaving mug that my wife got me a few years back. Doesn't really serve any purpose as I don't really use it, but it would have traditionally been used to hold a puck of shaving soap in the bottom and then have a lather created inside it. And then I've just got a couple of extra shaving brushes that I don't know if I'll ever use because I'm still using the same brush that I started with 7 or 8 years ago, and it is still in pretty darn good shape. Right below the mug I have a cabinet for various odds and ends. On the top shelf I keep extra double-edged safety razor blades. The next shelf down I just have a couple of antique shaving items, a vintage auto strop safety razor which I think is from the 20s, and then an old vintage travel shaving brush. And then on the bottom shelf I just have my travel shaving kit that I made out of a Altoids style tin, and I'll show you a couple clips of that now. And right next to that cabinet on this big open shelf is where I keep all of my shaving soaps, my main shaving brush, and a few other odds and ends. Almost all of the shaving soaps that I use come in puck format. I either buy them locally or some of them online, and then I just put them in these generic tins so that I can grab my shaving brush and work up a lather directly in the tin and then put it back on the shelf. Underneath this shelf I just have a bar to hold an extra towel. This is a leather strop for when I do use the straight razors, just to keep the edge honed. And then over here on this little mini shelf I just have, these are called a block of alum. It's a mineral in case you cut or nick yourself shaving. It just helps to stop the bleeding, and this is the same thing. So I guess now we can get into how you do this. Well, you don't need all that stuff. That's just a byproduct of collecting. You just need three primary things. You need a razor, you need a brush to create a lather and put it on your face, and some sort of shaving soap or shaving cream, and that's pretty much it. So now I'll take you through a quick little tutorial on just how it works. Alright, so that's pretty much it for my traditional shaving setup and a quick little overview on how to shave with a safety razor. Now I'll talk about some of the pros and cons that someone might need to consider if they are interested in this form of shaving. Starting off with the advantages, one of the biggest benefits to traditional shaving that I see is that it can be, in my opinion, the absolute most affordable way to shave. Once you have your razor and your shaving brush, all you really need to replace is your safety razor blades and your shaving soap, and both of those can be had for relatively cheap. In addition to that, I think traditional shaving provides an excellent shave provided you take your time. I used to have a lot of problems with ingrown hairs, and ever since I started using a safety razor or occasionally a straight razor, I very rarely have a problem with that. And then probably the last advantage, which may not be a real advantage, is that it just has a cool nostalgia factor. I think it's a very kind of neat practice. Kind of makes me feel like I'm closer to my grandpa, but I understand some people might say that's just a straight up nerd factor. Now on the flip side, what are the disadvantages? For one, there definitely is a learning curve in getting used to using a safety razor, or most definitely a straight razor, as you have to kind of find the right angle to hold the razor at, whereas a modern razor pretty much does the work for you. And then you have to learn how to whip up a lather, which really isn't that hard, but it definitely takes a little bit of time to get it just right. Additionally, it is quite a bit slower than a modern razor. A modern razor you might be able to shave in 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, whereas this might take you 10 to 15, so it definitely takes a little bit more time. In addition to that, you can't fly with safety razor blades, whereas you can fly with the modern style cartridge razors. And then the biggest disadvantage that I see that I have fallen victim to is that, as I mentioned before, it can be the cheapest form of shaving. However, the nostalgia factor leads you into looking at brushes and vintage razors and things like that. And you can end up spending quite a bit of money when you start getting into it. I think I bought one soap to start out with, and then next thing I knew I had like 7 or 8 pucks of soap and a couple different shaving creams. So that is a pitfall that you kind of have to look out for. So that is probably way more than you ever wanted to hear about traditional shaving. So now I'll talk about my experience with Dollar Shave Club, show you some of the products I've been using from them, maybe do a quick shave, and then I will talk about my plans for using them in the future since I am such a huge fan of traditional shaving. And then after that, I might tell you about my favorite product of theirs, which ironically is not a razor. So here's what I got in my first Dollar Shave Club box. This was a part of one of their trial kits where you get several of their different products in more of a travel or sample size, so you can kind of try things out and see what you like before you start receiving full-size versions of these. It obviously includes a razor with razor cartridges, shave butter, post-shave cream, and then you get some body wash, shampoo, and facial cleanser, as well as a toothbrush and toothpaste. And then also included in the box is one of these bathroom readers, which is a pretty dang humorous guide to all sorts of bathroom and life issues. And I'm guessing we'll probably end up giving some people hemorrhoids because it does force you to sit down maybe a bit longer than you ought to. In addition to the kit, I also got a few other things I wanted to try out as well. I got some bar soap, some deodorant, and some One Wipe Charlies, which are a flushable butt wipe that they claim to be fresh and tingly. And as of this morning, I can definitely verify they are both fresh and tingly. And because I plan on using this mostly for work and travel, I got this really cool waxed canvas shaving kit that holds everything nice and tidy. It's got a bunch of little organizing pockets in there, and you can see how everything sits, and the razor is held at the top. So I'll go ahead and do a quick shave with this and then give my remarks at the end. Alright, so that's pretty much going to do it for my little video tour of the Dollar Shave Club stuff. Now I'm going to give you my thoughts on the shave, their products, and my overall impressions of their service. Starting off with the shave, there's not really a whole lot I can say about it other than the fact it was a great shave and it did exactly what it was supposed to. I had zero razor burn and overall it was a really good result. It took me about a third of the time it normally takes me with my traditional stuff, so obviously it has that big advantage. I really liked the shave butter and the post-shave cream and the way they smelt, and my wife did too, so that's always a very good plus. As for the other products I got, I was really pleased with everything I tried out and almost surprised to a point in that the Dollar Shave Club name doesn't really make you think of much else other than shaving, but in reality they carry virtually every grooming product a person could need. I loved the bar soap and the deodorant and the little travel shaving bag that is now at my locker at my firehouse. Is probably the nicest one I've ever seen, and overall I think they just have a great selection of products that I think maybe get missed when people think of the shaving, but obviously that's kind of the bread and butter of the whole thing. So what do I think of the service in general? Well, I think it's a great option for anybody looking for a convenient and affordable way to shave and maintain whatever grooming standards they're looking to maintain, whatever those grooming standards may or may not be. And it also sure beats going to a store and asking some random person to unlock a cage just to purchase basic razor cartridges like many stores are set up. In addition to that, I think they offer great value and low risk in the fact that you can order any one of their product lines in the form of a $5 starter set. So for example, if you wanted to try the shaving line, you could get a shaving $5 starter set, and if for whatever reason you didn't like it, well, you're only out $5, and that's a pretty minimal investment just to try something out. But if you did like it, you could set it up for reorder, and it'll be sent to you automatically at whatever interval you want. So if you wanted to get them every month or every 2 or 3 months or every 6 months, you could set it up however it best fits in your grooming needs. So with all that said, how is this going to fit into my daily grooming routine? Well, as I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of traditional shaving. I like the process, I like all the bells and whistles that go with it, and I'm not planning on leaving that anytime soon. But as many of you know, I work as a firefighter for my day job, and I work 10 24-hour shifts a month. And using this razor setup at work has been so much more convenient than my traditional razor setup. So I will definitely be using it at work and for travel. And as a byproduct that I didn't expect, my wife started using this razor, so I actually already ordered another one for her to use, so I guess it's also going to become her razor of choice too. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope it was informative and interesting and gave you a good look at two different forms of shaving, both traditional and modern. And I also want to say thank you to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this video and being open to my crazy idea of talking about traditional shaving, which is something they don't do a business in, but I think is really telling of them as a company, and also says that they have a lot of confidence in the products that they sell. And after I've tried those products, I am definitely a fan too. So I would definitely recommend you check out the link down below. Check them out, see if you like them. I'm sure there's going to be something you will like. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like this. Check me out on Instagram, and then I'll see you on the next video. Oh, hey there. I forgot to tell you what my favorite Dollar Shave Club product really is. It's obviously the butt wipes. Because let's be honest, you don't wipe mud off your arm with a dry paper towel, and you don't ruin an epic session of number 2 with this stuff. You use a wipe. I think that was special. See ya.